Carter, the news from yesterday. It's my team. Dug McDaniel is going to miss 6 games, just the away games. Just the away games. Nothing else, just the away games. This was released to the public via Dug McDaniel himself on his Instagram with an Instagram story post that was quite colorful, for lack of a better word, I guess. I don't know. Not exactly what I think the Michigan PR department would approve of here, but I'm just going to read his post word for word. He says, we'll be serving a 6 away game suspension starting tomorrow. I'm active for every home game, though. Please don't DM me or ask me about it. Just respect it. We'll be back on the road next month. Till then, my brother's going to hold it down. It did not originally say brothers. Then it said, see y'all at home. I believe I broke this news, by the way. Like, as far as like college basketball reporter people go, I believe I'm the first one who had it. Like, I screenshotted Doug's post and said, per Dug McDaniel will miss the next 6 away games. From there, the internet ran wild with this. What's going on with this? Why did this happen?
I mean, why does Michigan basketball keep finding new ways to be odd this year? Why is that? Why is that the vibe?
Juwan Howard. I mean, that's the answer.
I mean, this just I've never heard of anything like this. And I believe that there was a statement that came out today that the reason is because of academics is that he can't travel. Is that true? Did you see that?
Yeah, so we've talked about the rumors. I think we can be specific about it. The rumors were that Dug was going to be academically ineligible for the entire semester, which would mean he's out for the season. That was the rumor going back a week and a half ago. It is now clear at this point that that did not come to fruition. Otherwise, he would not be able to play. Like, if Dug did not make grades, he would not be able to play. I was alerted. I spoke on this on the preview with Brian Ralph yesterday for the Michigan-Maryland game. I was alerted from 2 different sources that told me yesterday there was a good chance Dug would be available for some games, but not others. That's all I was told. Obviously, you can't report that. I was told it about 6 hours before Dug Instagrammed it himself. So my understanding of how this happened is this is some sort of probation where Dug's academics are the issue, 100%. It's been a known issue. In the end, he was eligible. Like, he did meet whatever mark he needed. I believe at Michigan, the specific rule is you need a 1.8 GPA to be eligible. You need a 2.0 GPA to be full go, no probation, no punishments, no nothing. So a little bit of speculation, but with reason, would point to Dug made the 1.8 mark, did not make the 2.0 mark. And this is now a punishment handed down either from the university or from the basketball coaches themselves.
My brother in Christ, Doug. I mean, a 2.0, man, just show up. But it's okay. I understand it. I understand the probation portion of it. I still can't fathom the actual suspension, like the home game away game thing. It's just it just adds to the clown show that is Michigan basketball this year. And once again, the surrounding narrative around this is I've never seen a suspension like this. What do you mean it's only, and like, all Michigan has been in the news for this whole season is people questioning, like, what are they doing? And it usually ends with what are they doing on the court, but it starts with other stuff. Like, what is Juwan doing getting into altercations? What is this coach doing? Is he back or is he not back for Atlantis? Is he the actual head coach? Why is he getting attacked when he's not the head coach? Who's coaching this game? Oh, we're in Pennsylvania. Phil Martelli's the coach. And now you got this with Dug and the suspension that is setting a precedent that we haven't seen before. So it's a lot, man. Obviously, Michigan fans don't care because their football team is good. But to me, this is like when you have a star student kid, right? That's Michigan football. And then you have the other sibling that gets put on the wayside. That's Michigan basketball. And they're lashing out and they're doing things and they're crying out for attention. But no one really cares because the star child's so great. And that's what Michigan basketball has been doing all season. They're an unruly child that wants attention, and they've been lashing out.
Yeah, you know who cares?
You.
Me. I care. I'm really sad about this. Yeah, so where to go with this? Just want to like broadly step back and do a pulse check on this, but let's make sure everybody's aware. In the last 4 calendar days, the head coach of my 6-9 basketball team has willingly stepped aside and opted to not head coach his team in a game they needed to win for, I don't know, like, I guess, honorary purposes, to not use a word, like just unserious. Hey, give this guy his moment. I'm not going to coach tonight. And then 4 days later, he has now suspended the best player on his team for an academic issue that honestly, like, I'm struggling with the concept of this. Like, if he's eligible, he should play. If he's not eligible, he should sit. If there, like, to me, there's not really a gray area with that. And I get that technicality wise, there is, like, there is a rule at the university that there's a probation element, a probationary period. To me, this suspension means somebody negotiated something. Like, it probably came down to Doug being like, yeah, my grades suck because we're traveling and I'm missing class and I'm missing this. And so people were like, okay, then don't travel. Doug's like, okay, like, to me, but I don't get, like, it shouldn't have ever gotten to this point. And if it did get to this point, he should either play or not. And whether or not the school handed down the punishment or not, as a guy running the program, you can decide what you want to do. So Juwan had a decision, even if you give everybody the best case version of like what you believe happened here. Juwan then had a decision at the end of all of this of, you can either have your point guard in and out of the lineup, only play 50% of your games, distract everybody, become a national news story where you're going to get clowned for this, and so is he. Everyone's going to have scrutiny. Or you could just suspend him and not have him, which again is scrutiny, but it's less of a clown show. It would probably help guys like Jalen Llewellyn and George Washington III and Olivier Conway and Damari Burnett to know who's going to be with their team and to have some consistency in practice. Like, if Doug's not with the team for these 6 games, I'd rather him not be with the team at all, truly.
Right.
So
they don't know. They don't know who's going to be their point guard. They don't know who's going to be their coach. They don't
they
know who's going to be
do.
their strength coach.
They do. It's just mandated dates, which makes no sense to me. It feels unprecedented. It feels like this is nothing that has ever happened before in college basketball that I've seen. And that maps with everything else with Michigan basketball right now. Couple more quick points from me. To summarize the Juwan Howard era, the narrative always becomes something that it shouldn't be with every little thing that happens. Like, we can't talk about the games. We have to talk about the handshake line. We can't talk about the practices. We have to talk about the strength coach altercation. We can't talk about the transfer portal. We have to talk about admissions. We can't talk about our star point guard anymore. We have to talk about his academics. And we can't even talk about his academics. We have to talk about the unorthodox punishment that we've never, like, nothing makes sense. And it all comes from one guy. And it's so frustrating. I've beat a dead horse on it. But I don't know. Like, do you think there is a world where, like, Ewing theory, like, I saw it in person. We've seen it for 3 games now. The team is clearly frustrated with Doug. Is there a world where they remove Doug and everything looks better somehow, or no?
No, not a chance. They're going to look worse.
A lot worse, I think.
Yeah.
Which is scary because they're already worse.
Scary because they're already bad.
Yeah. I'm going to be betting Maryland alternate line tonight. They're only 6-point favorites. I will be shocked if Maryland doesn't win this game by 20 or more points. It's going to be disastrous on the court for sure. I'm
just laughing at the fact that they're in the meeting and they're like, all right, Juwan, so he's eligible, but he's close. Do you want to suspend him or not suspend him? And he takes a deep thought, plays with his chin a little bit. I got it. Home games, eligible. Away games, ineligible. Send. Like, come on.
The only thing I'll say there, because I truly don't know. You might be right. That's exactly what happened. This might have been something the university came up with and not Juwan, which is still not a good look for Juwan. But I I don't know. I don't want to criticize Jawan pointedly for this. I think it's the whole everything, the school, the program, all of it have a responsibility in this. It never should have gotten to this point. Like this being a punishment for someone's grades to me, it's like say that like I had to run a marathon this June, right? Like I don't
Mm.
run too much. I run a mile every morning normally in the summer. I've been running in the winter. You get to June, I have to run a marathon, right? Never ran a marathon before. That's a hard thing to do. Should probably prepare for that. Like maybe do some check-ins on where I'm at running. Like, maybe every 2 weeks in January, like see how far I can go without stopping or see what my mile time is or, just kind of work up my strength physically so that I'm capable of that. This would be like what happened to Doug would be like if I just woke up and found out, oh, I have to run a marathon today and I'm not ready for it. So the morning of the marathon, I decide to just run a marathon before the marathon and it doesn't work and I fail. And then as punishment for that, like I just have to run a marathon once a week for the next 6. Like it doesn't, none of it made sense. The issue was the preparation for this moment, not the moment. And they're left in a shitty spot. Everybody's going to be screwed. And the last thing I'll add is this. This is going to hurt me more than anything I've ever said on the show, but I got to say it. This is your fault, Doug. This is your fault. It's your fault. You are as unserious as your head coach is right now. And I love you. You are my favorite Michigan basketball player in 6 years. I've been so much enjoyment watching you play basketball. You letting this get to this point academically is sad. And honestly, like I'm not gonna get too upset over the announcement of this, but like, can you please just think? Like you need some people advising you on how to behave and how to do things. And I don't think you're taking anything serious. I don't think your announcement of this was serious at all. I think it's a horrible look for the program. I think it's a horrible look for you. And look, right now, Dug McDaniel's basketball career is headed down a horrible path, and he's way too talented for this. And whether that means he needs a new start to get out and get right, or whether that means he just needs to take some personal accountability and have a 2.1 GPA and maybe contribute to winning. Because when Doug was good this season, Michigan was kind of winning some games. Remember that? Then Doug
Yeah.
fell off a cliff, and then everything else fell. So I think it needs to be said that this is Doug's fault too. It's not just the coach's fault that his point guard is handling himself the way he is.
I agree. All right,
Sad
well then.
times. Sad times. All right. I want to talk